military al-Maliki. 10 years ago, he was a street vendor in Damascus. Now he has become, in all essence, a dictator of Iraq. He has surrounded himself with enormous amount of security forces. He has all kinds of agendas, none of them for the benefit of Iraq. One of the forces he is starting to surround himself with is this Iraqi Hezbollah. This attack was coordinated with Ahmadinejad and Nuri al-Maliki so that the Quds Force could come in here and do this. Militias, the Iraqi Hezbollah stepped up and said, oh, well, we did it. No, they didn't. Precision of this report, this attack, had to come from within Camp Liberty, Camp Victory, Camp Slayer compound area, and I guarantee you there was a spotter up on the hill. Long before I was a colonel in the military police, I was a private in the artillery. I learned how to call fire. I knew how to get precision fire. And militias do not launch attacks for 15 minutes. They fire 2 or 3 rockets and then quickly vacate. This went on 15 minutes with precision accuracy, the adjustment of fire coming from Signal Hill. I gave as many copies as I had of this report. I asked you to go through it, and if you could. And take it with you when you have a chance and go ahead and analyze it. Please bear in mind one critical thing. When the Americans, and I lived on Camp Liberty when I was the J3 of detention operations, those were residents, those were trailers put in there so we could have a place to sleep at night. We did not stay inside the compound. We went outside every morning and we worked for 19 hours a day. Then we came back to the compound. They were just places to sleep. Now, in a very small fraction of Camp Liberty, you have 3,100 people compiled in there. And there's all kinds of threats towards them. And they're artificial threats. The T-walls that were removed, that is so when the next rocket attack occurs, there can be more maximum kill going on. Colonel Sadiq is a war criminal. I compare him to General Graziani of the Italian military in the 1920s in Libya, and all the atrocities being allowed to go on. I thank the Spanish court for properly identifying him for his criminal activities, and this needs to be taken by all nations to include the United States. The United States has been wrong in its handling of Iran since 1953 with the CIA-supported coup. We supported a very brutal dictator, the Shah. There was a chance at democracy. Unfortunately, it failed. Khomeini came to power. The United States has not properly dealt with that problem since. Madeleine Albright decided in 1990 to turn them into a terrorist organization to appease the Iranian government was totally wrong. Louis Freeh, former director of the FBI, was in charge of the FBI at that time. He stood up to her and he said, "You're wrong for doing it." Unfortunately, it went forward. European nations followed suit. Canadian government followed suit. I was glad to see the European governments pull them off the list. Again, the most important thing is security. Get those T-walls back. Get the bunkers in. Let them have sandbags. Let them have proper food and nutrition. Right now, and it's in my report, they have disease, they have all kinds of problems going on. The disease is going to be rampant. And like I say, their immune systems are already depleted. They're exhausted. I definitely welcome a lot of questions. I would like to close by pointing out something. When I was at the Canadian Embassy and other times, I've been accused of doing this for financial gain. I am not paid a single penny. I never have been paid a single penny to speak, to write, or any other type of work I've done. We promised these people protected person status. In the military, the American military and all militaries operate under 3 words: duty, honor, country. Unfortunately, we have violated all 3 of those words when we revoked the protected person status and we turned our allies over to the pro-Iranian Maliki government. A lot of lies have been stated about this organization. I've done the research, I've done the homework, I've done the study, I've been able to separate the lies, And I find most of the misinformation about this organization comes from the Ministry of Intelligence out of Iran. Also, let's look at the future stability of the Middle East. We see meltdown in Iraq, we see meltdown in Syria, we see meltdown everywhere. One of the biggest sources of the problems is the current Iranian government. And yet, Western Europe, Canada, and the United States especially, has not figured out how to deal with this government. Appeasement is not a way to deal.